Hello everybody and welcome back to TeamOne taking on Furia. We are here for map numero 3. It's a very weird situation developing because TeamOne got stomped out on map number 1, their pick of train, where they previously beat Furia 16-4. They had no chance. It looked like they were asleep in the series, and then they came into Mirage, and boy oh boy, they must have had a couple of energy drinks in between. I don't know what they did, but it certainly worked, as they managed to take the previous map and bring us right here to Vertigo, a map they've not played before, and a map we've seen Furia dominate on in the past. My name is Mitch, and joining me is Dean. We'll be taking you through this crazy action on 2 more best of 3s in the day, and we're already live into the pistol. As the knife went down, Furia are starting out on the terrorist side.
Yeah, not surprisingly either. It does appear that Vertigo is quite the T-sided map from what we've seen so far. And they are going to be going ahead and creeping up towards that A bomb site. We see a little bit of a gamble actually coming through from TeamOne. They've stacked up over towards B. 3 players on the immediate bomb site, one then who can rotate relatively quickly in from mid. The issue is a smoke goes down, a couple of smokes rather going down, and that's going to be a bomb plant coming through right now in the 5-on-5. Not much damage as of yet actually being put through, just a small bit towards TRK with a spam through the smoke. But Finny, he wants to get aggressive. The flash, it allows for him to take a quick headshot, but instantly returned on. The trade so far going in favor of TeamOne, and unfortunately for Art, he gets caught trying to jump up into cover. It's all on the Caserato, 1-on-3 playing from the sandbags. Has he been spotted as of yet? No, he hasn't, but as he takes the shots, his position's known, and they will just push him down together. Plenty of time for that defuse to actually come true. No kit even needed.
I mean, we're talking about how, in general, the stats have certainly indicated that this is a terrorist side map for the most part. And you look at Furia coming into this series, obviously they should be doing a little bit better on the attacking sides, being the favorite team and certainly the more successful at an international level, you could say. But TeamOne getting the first round of the board, and with their victory on Mirage, I mean, it's going to start to get a little bit worrying. Furia need to get themselves at least a little bit of momentum built up early on, and actually struggling to get their buy in uniform, leaving the spawn, buying up within the last couple of seconds of the buy time as well. Not a great way to start it out. They decide to go for the force buy nonetheless, and this is something we've seen from them every single time that they fail to get the opening duel. Or the pistol round in general. They go over to the force buy directly afterwards. Nice boost there from Maluke. He spotted at the head of Art, and I think he finally realizes it, but doesn't connect all the shots. Relying on the wallbang spray to finish him off, and it doesn't come through either. Leaving it over into a 5v5 with a lot of progress for Furia towards that bomb site. Oh no, they don't expect the re-peek from Maluke though. And he manages to pick up 2 and then bail on out of there. An enigma, but an opening duel for TeamOne that doesn't go their way, but is pulled back into a man advantage.
Yeah, bit in a good position as well. Actually does end up dropping Viniter with a quick headshot, and we do see IDK chiming in on the MP9. So TeamOne, they are dealing with this force buy extremely well. Only a single frag actually coming through from Furia, unfortunately, considering the investment that they actually put into that round as well. It's not really what they would have been hoping for, as they are going to have to go ahead and take an eco now. Only the 1 SMG coming into play though for TeamOne, so it will be TRK who just looks to try and build up as much money as he can. Some upgraded pistols at least being allowed for Furia to come out, so a chance for a bit of damage to be found. Looks like they are going to go for a pretty quick play over towards B, potentially. Although being slowed down pretty quickly by a flash from Bit, but another one coming in return actually allows for them to catch him out in the open, completely blinded.
And tapping away, Barton's able to pick up Vinny and now bail on back a little bit. Happy with the damage that they've done, though. The T-side managed to pull back another kill and take IDK down. Low HP on Yuri and Caserato, but with Barton also vulnerable to dying. Look, you got to think about the investment Fury have made into this round. So long as they can find themselves the couple of frags they want, and 1 more would be spectacular. They could also get a bomb plant down as well, and even just the 2 kills alone, I think, is enough at this point. Art creeps forward. Barton actually gets headshot out of this universe by Art, who on full HP had been given the Deagle instead of the PT-50 we saw him using earlier on. Now comes around with the Krieg. Oh no! TRK is last alive. They've got no armor to play with. That's the one upside that's working in TRK's favor. But as he pushes forward, Art's got the angle, gets taken down. TRK manages a second as well, but then the P250 of Yuri, even on low HP, is able to come out on top and bring a round into favor for Furia. Considering how they invested into that round, 2 kills would have been enough, but 5 kills in a bomb plant, you can't argue with that.
That's a heartbreaking one right there for TeamOne to lose. They can still pull together some form of a buy, but it's not amazing. No defuse kit available. They have an op at least, one M4, a couple of MP9s, and a scout. And the op already actually being taken out there by Vinny, who held a very tight angle. Sure, he took a bit of damage as well in return, but the man advantage either way does go in favor of Furia. It's extended even further by Abel and Yuri, who are able to go ahead and take a couple of quick headshots. And with that, now the bomb just going to be brought over towards that A-bomb site. They do have to be cautious, though, because there is always the chance for that elevator drop to come true. So you can see a smoke being put down. It allows for the bomb to have a slightly safer passage up towards the A-bomb site.
There's no way the TeamOne gain access back into this round. They've no kit to play with. A 3-man disadvantage. All the Furia players still alive. The one thing to be said, though, if Furia manage to carry these weapons forward, their economy gets bolstered down like crazy. Realistically, I expect at this point they will want to save these weapons. I don't expect to see hunts going through, but evidently they're feeling a little bit frisky. As Art pushes forward, he's caught out by Bit and eliminated. Abel J is right behind him to try and find this trade, and he hears Bit relocating to the bottom of the stairs, so he'll be taken down quite quickly. Now, it does hurt the CT side a lot more than it hurts the Ts to lose one-for-one trades laid on like that. Not having your weapons carried through to the next round pushes TeamOne into a position where they were 100% going to go for an eco here. But having nothing to play around that AWP is never ideal. You have to allow him to find the opening duels. Either that, or you play a stack, try to get the AWP over the next round if you can, and that's really where you're going to get the best chance. But even then, the op is a weapon that on the T side, we don't see deployed all too often on Vertigo, and on the CT side, it's kind of easy to avoid because you only really expect to see it doing a lot of damage towards A, which is where Furia are going, curiously enough. Barton manages to trade out his teammate, though, and I like the fact that they played that IDK running in to try and bait out a little bit and allow Barton to cleanly take a fight. At this point, 2v3, they can consider a save, and with Bit going down, I think it's probably time to do that, unless Furia massively overextend.
Which shouldn't really be happening. Of course, held off for the moment by that smoke as well. Having the op, as long as they don't take those 1v1 peaks, then it is going to be a pretty much impossible position for Barton to actually win out. Saving that op right now is probably the best decision that he could come to, in all honesty. The 1v3 is not very winnable, and you can see he has gone ahead and realized that as well, beginning to back off. So, not being carried over into the next round, at least will give them a bit of a stronger buy. TeamOne should have a pretty solid investment overall. And of course, with them being on the CT side, it's all about just trying to grind out those rounds. It is, after all, a pretty T-sided map from what we've seen.
It's not terrible to see Fury getting some rounds on the board, but it's more the economic security. I'm looking towards Casarado actually pushing up aggressively. Barton should be finding this kill. Is he even going to go for it? No, he's just going to let Casarado walk by. And that's actually a wise decision because it stops any of his teammates from rushing him down immediately, knowing that the AWP is there, and taking him down. So nice decisions being made there for Barton. As at the end of the day, saving forward that AWP was the end game of that previous round, and it works out. With Furia looking overall pretty decent economically, like they're bolstered down now for cash, it's TeamOne's opportunity to get around on the board right here and now that still won't look incredible for them if they do, because Furia will be able to reinvest into the next. So even though we're only 5 rounds into this point, there's still a lot of progress being made by Furia winning out those rounds so cleanly.
Yeah, it's going to make things certainly a little bit more complicated for them overall. Let's see now, TeamOne, they have a good opportunity with that op coming back out onto Maluke, of course, having been dropped over. They have a pretty solid buy overall. Fury are just going to be spreading out for a bit of a, I guess, a standard default early on once again, looking to try and find that aggression over towards A. They actually will be successful for a one-for-one trade at least. Art takes down IDK before falling, of course, to TRK. And with that, the CTs do fall back off and decide to play a little bit more passively. TRK spots out that Casarado is actually pushed up a little bit more aggressively on the ramp, so they know that there is at least a little bit more presence in this position. But with 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining, there's not really, I guess, too much pressure rather on the shoulders of Furia to commit to this right now. With the 4-on-4, they're happy to wait and just see if anyone's going to give them the opportunity to extend that advantage, but it's not really going to happen. Bit takes a very quick headshot for himself. With that now, they're going to go ahead and just commit to the bomb site, and Casarato will be able to find Bit, who is just hiding in behind those blue boxes, taken down without really putting up too much of a fight, and he's going to be able to line them up as he pushes forward. So much damage done onto Maluke, the Glock in hand to finish it off, but it's still TRK now left in the 1-on-2, but that didn't last very long.
A huge round played out for Casarato there, not only finding the opening, but just aggressing forward to tear that defense completely apart before they can have any chance to regroup and figure out how they're going to play around the utility that was put down by Furia on 4-2. And this is something that is quite a staple of Furia in general, making those aggressive individual plays, but not on a brainless level, right? They don't just rush like madmen. They tend to play pretty calculated in general. And make sure that they're not caught out. In these rounds is where it can be dangerous to play alone, and Vinny's about to find that out as he gets taken down. Bit's able to retrieve a weapon and bail out towards T-spawn. Maluke picks another. This is getting a little bit worrying. I mean, they've got deagles in play. Maluke luckily is heard running around, so Able J is ready to refrag. You've still got Armor and a Krieg on Bit. Barton playing in there with a deagle as well. It's not an easy round for Furia to follow through on. Luckily, they have access towards the A site and the ability to get a bomb plant in. Barton again going to catch them off guard, just allowing Art to walk by, hoping there would be another player here. Art was so confused as he gets taken down now. It's into a 2v2, and TeamOne not only have done a great job at actually securing weapons for the next round, but they may even go for this, as they've got a decent chance of pulling it off. Without a kit, though, they'd have to go immediately, and losing a player there, Bit's just probably going to save.
Does look like he's considering giving it a go. Bit of a gap in that smoke though for Casarato. He will be able to spot it once that peek comes out. They're going to be getting dropped very, very quickly indeed, and that's Furia now extending that lead up 5-2. There is, of course, enough money for TeamOne to come onto the buy now in this round, but they need to start picking up some more rounds in general. 5-2 early on here for Furia. It is, after all, a T-sided map, but you don't want to let them just build up such a massive lead early on, because we know once Furia get going, they can be very difficult to stop. That aggression and the confidence that they like to play with, once it's working, it's very, very difficult to actually shut it down.
Well, we certainly saw that on Train. I mean, their confidence got rolling. TeamOne got rolled. Molotov goes in towards the window. This is going to be a fast commitment towards the B site. You've already got 3 players rotated in there, both Barton and TRK playing behind the smokes, waiting for the push to come through. That smoke does quite... the flashbang, rather, does quite a lot of damage towards Barton, as he could have been taken down. Luckily, though, still follows through on the kill, and with IDK again being the player to open it up massively for TeamOne, you're left into what is a rough position for Furia. The CTs have got double the manpower that Furia do.
Which makes things quite difficult, of course. Casarato and Vinny do at least still have 50 seconds to work with, but they don't really have too much control. The bomb for now is still back towards the spawn. They will have to go ahead and pick that up pretty soon, as they do begin to just see if they can get a little bit of control on mid. That's going to be Casarato. Of course, Vinny does pick the bomb up, and it looks like they're actually going to try and split it over on towards B. Of course, with that bomb making its way towards the steps, potentially. It is going to be a little bit awkward, though, either way, because TRK is ready to try and hold it down alongside Bit. One positive is there's not a lot of utility to work with, barred out 1 Molotov, so let's see. Vinny creeping forward. If he can find a quick frag, it's definitely doable, and there we go. Bit goes down on the bomb site. Does he expect TRK to still be playing up close, though? That is the question, and also Casarato in such an amazing position to cut off this flank right now. Maluke, he could be in trouble, but he manages to connect the shot, and then Barton finishes it off. Even if he didn't, of course, there was still TRK up close in that cubby.
Yeah, the thing was there with Barton taking the fight, you would maybe check that close corner where TRK was after finding the opening duel. Knowing that they had a 2-man advantage to work with, it's quite possible there's another player there. But as soon as you see Barton, you're going to assume, okay, well, that's the second A guy. If he dies, TRK almost certainly catches them off guard. Putting it into a 5-3 scoreline, Vinny manages to open it up with an invisible AUG as they move over towards B itself. And Barton was traded back, but the T's keep the man advantage. Smoke goes down from Maluke. He's caught behind the sandbags, and they should assume that he's here. They don't want to mess around with that. Bailing out a little bit, playing over towards the B side where Able J is trying to find an opening, and indeed he does. alongside his teammate Ard, who'd already pushed up close to the site, putting it into a 4v2 and a bomb plant secured towards B. Nobody else sitting around A. Maluke's got an AWP on the retake, which is never ideal, and I think, again, we should just be looking at a save for the CT side. They haven't got a whole lot of cash for the next round, but they have a better chance with 3 extra players. This Furia would only have 1 extra to work with, and no bomb planted. But even still, they're losing players as we go. Maluke unable to save over the AWP, leaves TRK spotted out. And with the amount of cash that's working on the T side, they can afford to hunt him with 1 or 2 players. And it's only really 1 player they can afford to hunt with, I think. They'll want to save over a lot of this cash. So they're playing pretty passive on the hunts, playing in 2-man groups, making sure that they're pushing and pincering him in so he can't go anywhere. And there it is. They lose 1 player, but they manage to find the trade immediately.
Of course, that puts TeamOne in a very difficult position now. Not being able to save anything over, unfortunately. It's only TRK who can actually afford to buy for himself. So we are likely just going to see an eco coming into play right now. Some upgraded pistols likely to be brought out, considering they do have a little bit of excess cash. It's not like they can't invest at all. So there's still a chance for at least some damage to be put onto the put towards the economy rather of Furia, but it's not going to be easy up against these rifles. 7-3 is certainly the likely scoreline that we should be seeing after this round ends, and already a man advantage being found. The spam from both teams right there, exchanging damage. Eventually, it does actually lead to, I believe, the death of 1. AbleJ going to be able to find that aggression though elsewhere, so a man advantage still being put in favor of Furia after we do see things kind of quiet down for a couple of seconds. And it seems like they just want to try and commit towards A now, I guess, knowing that TRK has been tagged up already.
Look at the position here for AbleJ. He'll be able to cut them off as well as they rotate in to try and save these weapons. He's already heard them. He's waiting for them pushing through mid. They've got players watching over towards the construction part of back A, and really they're just going to wait, run the clock down, see if the CTs get aggressive, and then later on hunt them down and take those weapons out of their hands. TeamOne should find it hard to save these as the T's start to group up, start to push together. Bit finds 1. But it's Barton on the Deagle that I'm more concerned with as he jumps up on top. That's the flank completely opened up now. Bit is in a lot of danger. He has to watch 2 angles at once. Knowing there's players towards both of them, the Molotov will help him for just a little bit. But it's not going to last all the while. He takes down Vinny. Spots Yuri up close as well. Knows both players are here now. They're lining up too, and he runs out of ammunition. At least a bomb takes down the final player, so Furia don't survive with anybody. Which is better than it could have been. It's decent damage done for TeamOne, even though they lost a couple weapons.
They didn't really invest much, though, to be fair. It was just the pistols that were upgraded. All the guns they had, I believe, picked up off of Furia. So it's actually a very good outcome to the round for them. As you can see, a couple players even not having enough to buy into the next round for Furia if they do lose this one. So good opportunity here for TeamOne to start picking up some rounds on the CT side. They definitely do need to do so, as we do see a double up setup actually being brought out now. Maluke and then Barton on the secondary. He's going to be potentially given some opportunities over towards B soon. We see a couple of players from that T side looking to try and work up the steps. I believe that's Art who is leading the way. Eventually, indeed, Barton, even with that smoke down, is given a little bit of a gap to work with to go ahead and actually find an opening and an advantage. But Yuri, great prediction there as he peeks the angle. The headshot comes through immediately onto TRK, and he just creates so much space now. Cuts off that rotation in mid from IDK, and has made his way all the way back towards the spawn. He could be in trouble to the up of Barton now, but if he stays alive, that would be massive. But eventually they do manage to shut it down. Not before, of course, the other T is pushed forward onto the site itself, though. But Maluke just continues to fight. It's the Ops doing all of the work right now in this round for TeamOne.
If the Molotov goes down to stop any further aggression coming through from Maluke, at least the bomb plant is secured. AbleJ spamming through is actually very close to finding the kill, but Maluke, as he edges forward, still with the AWP, will have support this time. Bit's already rotated in. And it's at this point that, yeah, you could save the weapons over. A double up setup in play at the moment. But really, they need the rounds, and as Bit falls, it looks more likely that a save comes through. With those ops, it's unlikely they get much done. Maluke gets lit down, and only now is Barton starting to rotate in a little bit late. And I'd prefer to see him just walk away with this weapon, but just charges forward and dies to AbleJ, peak in the same position that he was in before. So 8-3. And a lot of rounds built up for Fury. You can say this map is T-sided or that it's CT, but well, you're wrong if you say CT statistically. But Furia definitely dominating this terror side, and it's kind of as expected. They're a much stronger team on Vertigo. Sorry, they're a strong team on Vertigo in general, while there's no data on how TeamOne play this. It's their first playthrough of Vertigo, and they were forced into this by taking out Inferno early on. Nice opening with the deal, at least. The chance for more is there as Barton's tapping away on the ramp, but doesn't find it. Sneaky position from TRK as well. Hiding behind the sandbags. Hasn't been cleared out just yet.
Abel on mid has made some noise, but he will still be able to find that frag onto IDK. TRK, of course, eventually going down. Maluka in a decent position, but he's just so low on health that the second he finds that first frag on towards Vinny, he is traded out, of course. So 9-3 now for Furia. They've got a pretty good half built up here on the T side no matter what. Of course, they'll be looking for some more, which is definitely doable. The buy going to be coming back into play once again for TeamOne. If this one doesn't go in their favor, then Furia could potentially be coming out with a very similar half to what we've seen back on Train, where they managed to take it, I believe, 12-3 at half time. So this is going to be an important one for sure. Caserato looking to try and lead the charge up through A ramp right now to see if they can make this a quick one, perhaps. But there's two players up close he needs to be cautious of. Gets the first as IDK goes down. TRK swings, but he's only able to get one before Yuri's ready on the trade.
Molotov goes down to stop the push from Furia. Now Bit can get a little bit more aggressive. TeamOne are playing this so aggro a lot of the time. Bit gets taken down by the Krieg rather of Vinny. So Maluke and Barton are left in a 2v4 to try and pull off this retake yet again. And we're seeing such heavy preference from Furia towards this A side. And this is one thing I think Valve were trying to stop when they changed a lot of that A side. They pulled back the bomb plant position. They opened it up a little bit more. But I feel like those two things kind of counteract each other. The fact that you've got the wood wall now opened up gives a lot more access towards the T side. And yeah, it gives you the ability to early peek ramp, but you've got to take a vertical fight there, and you're much more boxed in when you're peeking towards ramp early on than the Ts. They have many more angles that they can peek from, and it's very difficult to adjust your aim vertically, as it's not something that you usually have to do in first-person shooters, and specifically in Counter-Strike. There's very few maps, or very few positions where you need to shoot downwards in such a wide angle.
This is looking like it may be a very quick third map here, Mitch. Hasn't seen too much on the CT side from TeamOne so far. Able to save those two weapons, it will give them a buy into this round at least, but it's just not looking ideal. Double digits already for Furia, and the opportunity still for them to try and get a little bit more here on the first half. The op still in play, of course. Forma Luke haven't been saved over. Rifles elsewhere. Eventually one gets dropped over indeed, so... Sorry. So TRK will at least have that M4 as well to work with. But Furia, they've just been so aggressive, and it seems to work out for them. TeamOne have tried to get aggressive to counter it, and it looks like they might try and do so once again. Again, Caserato, though, going to be able to be the one to actually open it up. Traded back by TRK. The positive this time is it wasn't immediately brought back again in favor of Furia. It is now just a 3-on-3. TRK is the sole defender on this A bomb site, but for the moment, Furia, they have slowed it down.
TeamOne have managed to use the utility to beat them back a little bit. And the problem is at this point they can start pushing around towards the broken wall. TRK gets aggressive, doesn't find anything for it. Barton's not able to trade all too much, just the one kill on the board, and so IDK is left in a 1v2, pushing up the ramp his position now, and he's going to be peeked by two different players at vertical angles. So 11-3, there was no way he won that fight, no way to spray them down really before they eliminate you, and 11-3, Furia are looking so dominant in this series, and it's so unusual to see because we predicted, right, if TeamOne have got an opportunity to win this series, it has to be on Train and Vertigo. Mirage should have been Furia walking away with it just on an individual level, and then Vertigo kind of an unknown entity for TeamOne where they could maybe catch Furia by surprise, but now we're starting to see why they don't play it. Again, I feel like it was worth the risk. Inferno was just so well played by Furia in the past. Okay, Bit just found the kill from on top of Vinny's head. Just dropped down right on him like he's playing Assassin's Creed. TRK is left in a position now that's actually winnable over towards the A side. Pushes them back. They don't want to commit to this all too quickly. They start playing slow. Yuri is very low on HP as he peeks out. If he's the first to take a peek, he would go down for sure, and indeed he does. The trade's at least there from Abel J, now able to get the bomb plant in as well. A smoke just to be safe. Plant over in... Oh, not even in the safe corner. Smoke actually might leave his foot slightly visible from a wide swing, but... it doesn't end up mattering as Maluke is coming up through the ramp. He might just catch him off guard as well, though Abel J turns to face just in time. But unfortunately, in the end, it's too little too late. Maluke finds the defuse, and it's going to be at least one round on the board for TeamOne extra, but an 11-4 half is not one that looks all too fantastic for them.
I mean, it's doable. They can certainly still have the chance to bring it back. We don't really know what to expect from them on their T side here of Vertigo, which is kind of the main issue. But again, as we said, they did let it through after all, so maybe they have something prepared to show us. We would at least hope so. We don't want this to be another very one-sided map like that first one was, especially after they came back in and got that victory on Mirage, which I'd expect caught a lot of people off guard, including both of us, of course.
Yeah. Thing is, though, like, Able J had a really slow performance on Mirage. And it was himself and Vinny that were doing much worse than what we saw from them on Train. And then when we swapped over to this one, Able J, I think he's finished out the previous half on 20 kills. He's definitely been playing a lot better and just looked a lot more comfortable. I think Furia just, they weren't feeling it. The Mirage, like we said, a map that TeamOne are in general pretty decent on. So looking at Vertigo, it's T-sided, sure. Quite this T-sided, I don't know. But it could have been a lot worse for TeamOne considering how things were going. I mean, they were shut out of a lot of these rounds. And the fact that they pulled it back there in the end. One other thing to comment on is the fact that IDK is having a very, very slow half. 6-14 on the CT side. But when you think back to Mirage, he was a player that opened up so many rounds for TeamOne. In the kind of the mid stage of the round, right? Like, they would lose an opening pick and then he'd come through with 2 or 3 kills towards middle of Mirage. Now moving over to the T side, he should feel a little bit more comfortable.
You'd hope so. They definitely need everyone to be stepping up right now if they want to make this a doable map. I mean, 4 on the CT side isn't game ending, but it's not what they would have been aiming for. They do manage to actually catch a player. They're getting a little bit aggressive over towards B. Won't sadly put in very much damage at all. Art, though, being forced back from the window without really being able to get much done himself either. So with that now, the A-bomb site under a lot of pressure. There's only one player on it itself. Caserato forced to go forward, manages to take down TRK, but he's lost a teammate in the meantime. Arto pushed forward and the smoke takes 2. And now it's IDK and Bit that are actually remaining to try and clutch this one out up close to the smokes. Vinny with a very wild play. Wasn't really needed, and then IDK comes through at one, spamming the smoke.
They know Yuri's here now, so they can actually back off and go to A, which is what they're trying to do. Throwing the bomb out. IDK plays up close, but he spotted the bomb. It doesn't matter. Yuri was happy to slow it down a little bit. Had a suspicion that IDK would be up close after seeing the bomb flying through the air, but it doesn't matter. TeamOne come out on top in that round in 11-5, starting it out with the pistol round. If I'm not mistaken, they won the pistol round in half number 1, though, as well. And followed through with the second. And Furia 4-spot round number 2 and then won their eco in the third, which was a weird start. Now they come through with an eco of their own, but they certainly look a lot worse here with just the USPs to play with, no armor as well, and the flashbang on Caserato is all that they have to work with.
Ooh, nice little double headshot there from Bit against the eco and opponents, of course, so it's not really too big of a deal, but it is nice to be able to connect those shots anyways and get the confidence rolling. You're going to be able to actually steal away a Krieg, though, so that could make things a little bit more dangerous. The only issue is still for Furia, of course, that they are in that 2-on-4, and as you can see, the bomb now is just being taken on towards A. And even with that TRK pushing through mid, he's going to be in a good position to just try and sandwich these in towards B, I suppose, and attempt to at least build up some money on the Mach 10. Only Caserato remains, though, so ideally they do want TRK to take him down and also then pick up the Krieg. Oh, and I think he may have spotted the gun barrel there. Apparently not, but eventually finds that as the peek comes through either way.
Here's Furia's chance now on the full buy. They've got themselves out plenty of rifles. Caserato surely to follow suit. Actually going to take a bit of utility on MP9 as well. TeamOne don't have an insane amount of cash built up, but with the bomb plant they will have absolutely no problem getting themselves out a very strong full buy. Nade from Vinny early on is not going to deal a whole bunch of damage, and he's solo holding towards the A bomb site. And we've seen a lot of, well, actually the rotation comes in from Yuri right afterwards, so not that big of a deal. Vinny gets lit up. They know exactly where both players are at this point. Nade goes through onto Vinny, and eventually he's going to be taken down by the fight on Barton. Yuri's forced to sit up close in the corner. One flashbang just needs to go through here, and Bit's ready to swing out and peek him. Rotations are coming through as well. Caserato's already up close to help out, and there's Bit falling to that double man setup. IDK's waiting for them to push forward and takes down Yuri through the wall, but Caserato's falling, and the bomb is on the floor now. TeamOne not having a fantastic time, as Maluka is the last alive.
I thought they just straight up committed to that bomb plant, in all honesty. Now Maluka is just left in a very difficult spot. If the bomb was down at least, then maybe he'd have a little bit of a chance, but trying to actually retrieve it against those 3 players is going to be near impossible. Smoke's going down, at least give him a bit of room to work with. Maybe if he can upgrade towards one of those 8Ks, it becomes a little bit easier, but now being spotted, spammed away at a small amount already. Things just are not working in favor of Maluka, as it does seem like Furia should be finding themselves the 12th round, and there we go. Tries to pick up the AK, doesn't expect Art to be up close, and gets taken down. Double the scoreline currently for Furia over their opponents. 6-12, of course. And looking at the economy for TeamOne, I mean, they could buy onto 3 players. Barton and TRK, though, would be left on some weaker weapons. TRK actually gets a drop over. Barton just going to go for the Galil bit. I'd imagine going to buy something up. Eventually gets the Deagle and Kevlar with a bit of utility. So, I mean, it could certainly be a worse buy.
Here's Vinny on the Krieg, finding an opening duel. Bailing out towards the ramp, actually, maintaining some aggression. As they start to push up here, this could get a little bit scary for him. All 4 players are in this area. And there goes Vinny. He falls. Luckily, rotations are already underway. Both AbleJ and Yuri are already here to help out. Smokes go down as they start to close in the distance. That nade could do a little bit of damage. Now they managed to avoid it. Now they know AbleJ's up close. Flashbang gives away the position of Yuri as well. They've got a lot of info to play with here on the T side, rather. As Barton and IDK both find the kills. Bit comes in with another. And that attempted push from Fury on the back of a flashbang does not go all too well.
Yeah, not at all. Abel, I don't believe, is going to really want to look for this one. He does end up finding an IDK, though, so that influences him to go forward. Gets the second onto Maluka, but Bit was ready to go ahead and swing in the second that his teammate fell to ensure that no more fatalities would be coming true. Just gets that trade immediately. 12-7, TeamOne instantly returning around, and of course that leaves Furia in a very difficult spot now. That's why I'm surprised AbleJ didn't just go ahead and save, because a rifle being carried over would have been quite nice. Of course, he does still have pretty decent money in the bank. He would have been able to have actually dropped the rifle in theory. I don't think they would have went for it, though. Of course, just willing to take this eco right now, allow for TeamOne to get an 8th round. Of course, they still have a pretty decent lead. The only issue is, of course, with this being a T-sided map, although it is 5 rounds behind for TeamOne, they're still in a winnable position for sure. Oh, there we go. Bit catches the player up close on the smoke. Abel peeks in to take 1. But it does seem like that's probably going to be the extent of the damage that comes through for Furia in this round, unless Vinny and Caserato can get something done with the USP and CZ respectively.
It's not too likely, but 1 or 2 kills would be nice. Dropping down was a brave move from Caserato. I respect the attempt. Now up close, TRK should be the one. Oh, he might actually be caught off guard. CZ on Vinny. Even though he can't see it, you can see the opponents. Tucks in the corner. This could be big. Maluka getting the plant down. He's safe, at least, from Vinny's sight lines, and eventually going to spot him out up close. So the kill goes to Maluka. Only just about. Decent damage done, nonetheless. Managing to drop those 2 weapons is kind of the minimum you expect from Furia going into a round like that. Or the minimum you need to get. With an AWP in the hands of Art over on the counter-terrorist side, it's not something that's deployed too much on the T side. Not something we saw being deployed. But as we move over to the CT, there's a little bit more opportunity, and playing it towards A is kind of what's expected. Going for a little bit of control towards the ramp. Such a crucial part of controlling this site, and the side of A in general, is maintaining this early control, but it can be really difficult because the T's can get there so quickly. And we saw that coming through, actually, as in one of the rounds, TeamOne tried to get aggressive like that with their op in play, and they just got completely overwhelmed.
That nade was nasty right there from Maluka, though. Dropped right down on top of Caserato and put him to 43 health. After initially being on full, of course. That is a good bit of damage early on going in their favor that they probably aren't aware of, but it will certainly potentially make things a little bit easier, rather, in the latter part of the round. The issue is Art getting aggressive over towards A right now. Is able to go ahead and quickly drop TRK, and even though there was players nearby, they weren't able to peek out in time to try and actually follow it up, so he's allowed to escape. That's a pretty awkward position right now for TeamOne to be in. And we're setting up a bit of an execute, as you could see, so covered off by the scaffold and didn't really give them much chance to help their teammate out when it was needed.
AbleJ finding an opening, and the 2 players towards the A ramp now being joined by IDK. There's inevitably going to be a hit towards this A site. 25 seconds left on the clock. Castorado gets lit up very heavily and eventually going to be taken down. As Art falls as well. Vinny's one of the only players left alive towards this site and wraps around using the broken wall. But unfortunately, he's not able to find the kill as Able J was in there in time. Saves over the AWP alongside an AK. Another round for the Furia defense to play with. TeamOne's still... I mean, they're on the fence here. I don't think they want to buy up. A pause comes through as expected, as they'll just attempt to kind of reason this out and figure out if it's worthwhile. I think at most here, you're going to expect like 4 pistols and armor. Like TRK can buy armor, get dropped over a pistol by IDK, Maluke. Oh no. We're going in fully. And an AWP coming out on the terrorist side straight away. This is,
dangerous.
It's an attempt. I gotta give them that.
Similar to what we've seen from Furia towards the end of Mirage, where they brought out a force buy. I mean, this is definitely a better force buy than the one from Furia was on Mirage when they were down like 13-11. Or it might have been 12-11 and they force bought actually, and it ended up putting them in a very difficult position. This one's a little bit more understandable though from TeamOne, because it's still kind of within their reach, especially if they can make this round right now work. Then Furia will be down on an eco and we'll likely see TeamOne pulling it up to 10. The only problem is if it doesn't, then they're on an eco in the next round unless they find a bomb plant in this one. And of course at that point then Furia likely taking up the map and serious point. So it's a massive gamble to say the least, of course. But will it work out? It's the main question that we're all wondering right now. Vinny holding a pretty passive angle there just through the gap over towards the A-bomb site. They do have a player, I believe, pushed up close as well. That is Art playing with the op around sandbags. His position now noted, of course, as he rings off a shot, but he did actually manage to tag down TRK, rather, I believe, to a 23, which stops him from really being able to do too much. I think his goal was just to sell a little bit of a fake, because we do actually see the main forces being put over towards B, but Able all alone dealing with this. A flash from Yuri came in to assist, of course, as now it's a 4-on-3. But Yuri playing up close on the bomb site to try and actually lock this down. And again, the flash is just perfect. Tagged up by the op, but he still manages to make it work.
TRK on just 23 HP, quickly dispatched. It's Art on the op that manages that, putting it now 14-8. And a spot for Furia that is looking sweet. Their economy, at least, is going to stabilize somewhat. Able J needs a drop, which means 2 players now are going to be relatively low on cash, with Yuri buying all the way down to full utility. Art and Able J also in a rough boat for the next round. But they have so many to play with. If they lose this one, they can afford to take a weaker buy or an eco. It's going to be a very fast push towards the A site. You can already see Castorado finds the opening onto IDK, but it's Vinny with the invisible M4 trying to get the work done. Boosted up on the bomb site, not going to find it. Art starts to rotate around with the AWP to help out here. As Yuri, he dropped down elevators and he finds himself an opening around that smoke as Maluke falls.
It was almost awkward. He got shot in the back and taken down quite low. Did recover, bit able to find 1 kill up on the A-bomb site, but Art is just cleaning them up right now. Able J then with the final frag, 15-8, map and serious point right now for Furia here. They only need 1 more round to close out this best of 3. As TeamOne unfortunately haven't really put up too much of a showing here on Vertigo. I mean, there's been little glimpses of what they're capable of, but it seems like they end up getting their economy broken and then they just aren't able to get themselves back into it. It was pretty similar to what happened back in the first half.
Art knew that they didn't have a lot of armor to work with, so he's just swinging out with the USP. Getting his USP frags up for the game, why not? So 15-8 now. Obviously on the verge of victory. Furia have massively recovered this series based on what we saw in the previous map. I'm considering this is a map that TeamOne don't play at all. Obviously it could have been better, but for their first official, at least they haven't been stomped out of it. The chance is still there for them to come back into it, but it requires 7 consecutive rounds. They've got a little bit of utility to work with as they push towards the B bomb site early on, still leaving players sitting around A. And as Art finds an opening duel, taking down TRK. That's the advantage early on, returned. As IDK picks it up onto Able J, catching him through the scaffolding. Walkway proves to be his enemy. Yuri picks up 2. Oh, very nice shots connected. As Barton and IDK have to pull this back all by themselves. Barton spots out 1 and takes Yuri, but he's all alone, smoke in hand as they jump up behind him. Castorado eliminating him from behind. That's a little bit of an awkward situation.